Got an article about it in the comics. J.J. Abrams admits that Star Wars sequel trilogy needed a plan. No shit. Star Wars The Force Awakens and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker director J.J. Abrams recently admitted that the Star Wars sequel trilogy needed a plan. Yeah, but here's the thing about J.J. Abrams. He's more about the build-up than the resolve. You know, the mystery box. What's in the box? What's in the box? Everyone wants to know what's in the box. Abrams was asked by the Collider, do you feel like the trilogy would have benefited from planning out a very strictly 3-movie story from the very beginning, or do you enjoy that kind of creative freedom to kind of take characters different ways and see how that goes? Abrams responded with a rambling answer before he eventually admitted that Star Wars needed a plan. He stated, what I've learned as a lesson a few times now is something that, especially in this pandemic year, and of course the douchebag hipster had to mention the pandemic, working with writers, the lesson is that you have to plan things the best you can, Abrams continued, and you always need to be able to respond to the unexpected, and the unexpected can come in all sorts of forms, and I do think that there's nothing more important than knowing where you are going. The Superman producer then said, oh, that's right, he's making a Superman movie. I pity you Superman fans, I really do. This guy bastardizes everything. He bastardized Star Trek, bastardized Star Wars. I think I heard he's going to bastardize Constantine next. He keeps getting away with it. No, it's not fair. Anyway, the Superman producer then said, there were projects that I worked on where we had some idea, but we hadn't worked through them enough. We had sometimes some ideas, but then we weren't allowed to do them the way we wanted to. I had all sorts of situations where you plan things in a certain way and you suddenly find yourself doing something that is 180 degrees different. I call bullshit. This guy doesn't really strike me as the type of person who has a plan ever. He's like the Joker, except not attractive or in the personality or appearance. And then sometimes it works really well and you feel like, wow, that really came together. And other times you think, oh my God, I can't believe that this is where we are. And sometimes when it's not working out, it's because it's what you planned. And other times, when it's not working out, it's because it didn't. You never really know. Abrams relayed. Abrams then admitted the sequel trilogy needed a plan. Well, now he says that. Back then he was too busy calling fans toxic or misogynists or threatened by strong women. I find it awfully convenient he's now admitting this. You need a plan, but having a plan, I've learned in some cases the hard way is the most critical thing. Otherwise, you don't know what you are setting up. You don't know what to emphasize because if you don't know the inevitable of the story, you are just as good as your last sequence or effect, a joke or whatever. He concludes saying, but you want to be leading to something inevitable. Interestingly enough, Abrams, Disney, and Lucasfilm did have a plan for Star Wars sequel trilogy, a plan that George Lucas gave them. However, they decided to buy it and put it on ice. Yeah, they lied to his face. They lied straight to Lucas's face. And I say to the Star Wars fans, you're a bit like me and the other Americans. You kind of deserve what you've gotten. Like, we deserve the country we're stuck with, and we deserve the Star Wars we're stuck with, because we did not appreciate Lucas enough. We did not show him the deference he deserved. And, yeah, no. We kind of deserve all... Well, I don't. I was kind of, like, on the fence on Star Wars prequels, and I didn't really hate Lucas, as far as I remember, but, yeah. George Lucas had some idea of a trilogy he wanted done in the future. He gave them some ideas or a script, and as soon as Disney got their hands on as soon as they got their grubby, greedy hands on it, they threw those plans in the trash and said, fuck it, we're doing our own thing. Former Disney CEO Bob Iger and the company's current executive chairman, the commander and douche, claimed in his memoir that they purchased completed outlines for a sequel trilogy from George Lucas and then decided not to buy them. Iger wrote, at some point in the process, George told me that he had completed outlines for 3 new movies. Oh, it was outlines, okay. He agreed to send us 3 copies of the outlines, one for me, one for Ellen Braverman, and one for Alan Horn, who had been hired to run our studio. Alan Horn and I read George outlines and we decided we needed to buy them. Then we made clear in the purchase agreement that we would not be contractually obligated to adhere to the plotline he'd laid out, he added. Later, Iger would detail, early on, Kathleen brought J.J. and Michael Ardent up to Northern California to meet with George at his ranch and talk about their ideas for the film he had. George immediately got upset as they began to describe the plot, and it dawned on him that we weren't using one of the stories he submitted. Iger then admitted the truth. The truth was, Kathy, J.J. Allen, and I had discussed the direction in which the saga should go, and we all agreed that it wasn't what George outlined. George knew we weren't contractually bound to anything, but we thought that our buying the story treatments was a tacit promise that we'd follow them, and he was disappointed that his story was being discarded, he wrote. Yeah, then I think they showed him a copy of The Force Awakens, and he was like, get out. And yeah, it kind of just shows what a scumbag Bob Iger is, because he lied to the man's face. But he's like, well, I didn't technically break any rules. It's kind of like that, like this is something Jeremy Johns brought up once. It's kind of like that old Bill Burr joke. That's what the law says. 100 years ago, I could beat you over the head with a mop and say, that's what the law says. Just because the law says something doesn't mean it's right. And while they did have George Lucas's plan and decide not to use it, what might be the most interesting part of this interview with Abrams is that he appears to be tactfully admitting that the Star Wars sequel trilogy isn't any good. Well, no. 2 of them were made by J.J. Abrams, so of course they weren't going to be made good. And the middle one was made by a hack, and otherwise known as Kathleen Kennedy's favorite hamster, also known as Roundhead Johnson. So of course they turned out to be shit. The only good thing that guy ever made was Lost, and the only good thing, and barely, I think he made Lost, it's hard to remember, and the only good thing that Rian Johnson's made, as far as I know, was Looper, and it wasn't that good. It also appears to be Abrams attempting to distance himself from Star Wars, as well as he moves on to producing a number of DC projects for Warner Media, including a new Superman movie from reparations activist Ta-Nehisi Coates. He's also reportedly developing a Justice League Dark series for... Oh, God damn it. God shits on my table once again. To quote Trevor Belmont and, or paraphrase him. What do you think of Abrams? And I think this is him just saying, look, I did a shit job. I regret nothing. That's what it reads like to me. He's just, like, telling people what they want to hear. And he's just going to do the same shit to Superman, who I don't care for, but I still feel bad for his fans. And Justice League Dark, which I liked. I liked the New 52 run of that, with mainly because I liked what they did with Constantine. Beyond that, I didn't give a shit, but that was... Oh, God. And this guy bastardizes everything he touches. And he's learned nothing. It's just... He's going to do it his way, which normally I would respect. I mean, that's kind of why I like John Carpenter. The only difference is John Carpenter makes good stuff. J.J. Abrams, he makes stuff that looks good, but when you analyze it, I have to imagine it looks like schlock, and not the good kind. And, yeah, just, damn it. Force, damn it. Allah, damn it. God, damn it. Buddha, damn it. Like, all the gods, damn it. Like, there's not a good way. I don't see anything good coming from this guy. And he's just allowed to do this, and he moves on to the next franchise to ruin. So, yeah, I don't think this means anything. I just think this I do agree with Brian in the comics. I think this is him trying to distance himself from Star Wars a little, and maybe hoping this will calm people down from calling him Jar Jar from now on because he called them sexists. Which again, J.J. Abrams, if you ever hear this, do the world a favor, clone yourself so you can kindly go fuck yourself. You piece of shit hipster douchebag. Actually, no, I highly doubt he'll ever hear this, but just on the off chance he does, go to hell. Alright, go straight to the actual hell. Actually, you know what? That'd be unfair to the people in hell. Go straight to oblivion, where nothingness is. That's where you deserve. That's where all hipsters deserve to go, usually. Either the void, oblivion, or not the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, or purgatory, but not hell. Like, I would not do that to the devil or the people he's torturing in hell. That's unfair to them. And that is my overall thought on this. Have a nice day, and remember, the game was obviously rigged from the start, and if J.J. Abrams is not proof of that, I do not know what is.